standing there like, none of that. He was essentially no longer in law. He was in equity. And that's what the court is trying to tell you without saying it out loud. If you want redemption, then you need to change rooms. You need to depart from the outlaw side in court and go through the equity door. And then you have to understand that chancellor is the same judge, just in a new role, a new capacity, right? So the same judge who denied your motion yesterday could actually give you full remedy tomorrow, but only if you trigger his role as a chancellor in exclusive equity. That's how the court system is split, ever since the merger. So the law side, that equals the rules, the codes, the penalties, the statutes, and all that, right? But then the equity side, that equals the conscience, that equals the intent, the manifestation, the purpose, the trust relief. You can't argue codes on the equity side, and you can't ask for grace on the law side. Basically, you cannot ask for exclusive equity on the law side and just think it's all gonna be peaches and cream. Again, you must depart from the law side and re-enter through the equity door. Not symbolically, but procedurally. That's really what we're talking about here. Now let's get into Congress's role under Article 3 and chop it up a little about 1 and 2. Article 1 and 2 as well. So let's talk about the constitutional mechanics here. Now, under Article 1, Congress governs the District of Columbia, the U.S. territories, the federal property, and legislative matters as well, right? Because that's Article 1. That's who comes up with the law. But now under Article 3, they're granted power to actually vest judicial power. And this is why I say we, as private Americans, have to extend judicial power to whatever agent in order to receive grace, all right? But keeping it moving, here's the kicker, right? When Congress appears in Article 3, they're redefined by that article. So they become the vessel for judicial power or judicial authority. I call it 3 by virtue of 3. That's the phrase you'll hear me use sometimes, all right? But here's the catch. Congress can only vest Article 3 judicial power in a union state, which means Puerto Rico, nope. Guam, nope. Oh, and here's the big one. Washington, D.C., nope. Even if a judge in Puerto Rico has life tenure, full salary protection, and wears a federal black robe and all that. Now, you see, them patriots and them sovereign citizens, they get confused when they hear, we just installed an Article 3 judge in Puerto Rico. You gotta remember though, an Article 3 judge in an Article 1 court is not an Article 3 court. That's just an Article 3 judge. When you invoke exclusive equity, then they can turn into, or when you extend judicial power, then they can offer you grace. That does not mean that you're just automatically gonna be in an Article 3 court or a court of equity. Now, I don't want you to just take my word for anything I'm saying. You can look this up in the Tidewater case, right? Tidewater makes it clear. Article 3 jurisdiction only applies in the Union States. Balzac, I think that's what it is. Balzac versus Puerto Rico, 1922. I think that's the case where they confirmed Puerto Rico is not entitled to Article 3 protection, so not entitled to judicial power. And then in Sanchez case from 2016, the Supreme Court actually, they confirmed that Puerto Rico is entirely under Article 1 jurisdiction. So no matter what the internet says, that is Article 1. They don't have any authority for judicial power that extends within Article 3. Like the court themselves never overturned Balzac either, and they never will, because jurisdiction is not preference, it's geography and it's constitutional limitation. So they're never gonna do that. So now you walk into court thinking you're in the right place. You cite the Constitution. You talk about your private rights. But if you walked in through the law door and you're trying to speak exclusive equity, you're in the wrong jurisdiction, and that's why you keep losing. That's exactly why you keep losing. You're being heard by a judge in law who doesn't have the authority to act in exclusive equity until you make the jurisdictional change. That's why venue and jurisdiction matters more than what you say in court. You got to deal with that first, and then speak the truth, and then you'll receive the grace that you're looking for. That's how that works. And if you don't, then you go to appeals where, guess what? They can see your private rights. But you got to trigger equity first still. But then once you get into appeals, boom, everything that you wanted to come out on top, your private rights respected, you'll get it. That's what I want you to do. This is exactly why I created Matisse Academy. And in there we got black sheep. And I know you're black sheep because you ain't got nobody to talk to about this. This is why I brought all the black sheep together who's studying about their rights and got a common goal. Like, I help adults and black sheep understand their private rights so that they can defend themselves against government agencies, creditors, and banks that violate the Constitution. And most of them don't even know that they're stuck on the law side of the court, shouting and getting angry, you know, and demanding for relief that only can be granted on the equity side of the law. And again, that's exactly why I created Matisse Academy. It's just $97 a month. This is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get private equity remedies and training on jurisdiction and court processes and step-by-step walkthroughs. You're gonna get templates and just a library that's full of lawful pleadings and resources. You're gonna get access to our affiliate program too, so you can actually earn money while you're learning. That's right, so that $97 monthly membership, you can actually get that covered if you just refer 3 people to the Matisse Academy. Then you can turn this into a side hustle really and go from making hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars for doing something that you're gonna do anyways, and that's spread the knowledge, show people how to do things and let them watch the videos and all that. So you can get paid to do that. Put some money in your pocket, take care of some bills, get ahead, and essentially you are earning while you're learning. So if you ever walked through, or if you ever felt like the courtroom was stacked up against you, or you felt like it was rigged and felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, if you ever felt like you were invisible in front of a judge, you're not wrong in what you were saying and how you're feeling. You just entered through the wrong door, the law door. You need to exit that door and get into the equity door where everything favors you. So just click the link and join Matisse Academy as a black sheep, and I would love to work with you. Can't wait to see you on the inside. This is a place where the black sheep get together, uplift you when things might not be going well, and celebrate your wins. And of course, iron sharpens iron. So you get to bounce ideas off of each other and lawful strategies off of each other. Whereas right now, you can't do that because nobody wants to talk to you about what you're studying and what you got going on. So see you on the inside. Matisse Academy, welcome to the Black Sheep family.